Where are the low-value men?
The hijacker's passport was found blocks from the World Trade Center crash site. You can believe that. You can believe that. You can believe that.
Contracted COVID, but says with a mixture of medicines, including the controversial horse dewormer that has poisoned hundreds of people nationwide, he's now recovered.
He was the best guy around.
What about the people he murdered?
What murder?
From the headlines to the whisper start. Low value mail, we'll get them all. Low value mail at 9 o'clock. Where truth and fiction take a walk.
Why don't you swear on the Bible that you walked on the moon? You're a coward and a liar and a thief.
Our stories are.
Welcome back, Scroats. How are we feeling tonight on this all-new episode of Low Value Mail? Oh man, I'm way out of frame here. Let's adjust that. Okay, look at that. Easy as that. It is episode number 154 on this July 21st, 2025, the year of our Lord. Is it lagging? I hope not. Oh boy, do I hope not. Because I'm back to streaming on Rumble because I thought that might have been the issue, but I guess not. But we're here on a joyous day. Joining me a little bit later in the second hour, we have Steve Poikonen. Steve is the founder of Slow News Day and AM Wake Up, which I've been a guest on before. As well, he's putting on the Third Eye Carnival, which is coming up this year in El Paso. I assume El Paso, Texas. I don't know any other El Pasos. And we're going to talk about that and some other things. As well, if you see, there's a little goal thing that YouTube has. If we get enough super chats, I'll do an extra 30 minutes of open lines. If not, I'm going to go home. Either way, I'm winning. A little housekeeping news for the show. I had mentioned in the past, maybe a month or two ago, I can't believe it's only coming up now, but I basically said that should a caller get my channel an episode demonetized, they would be on a bit of a timeout. So, for the first ever winner of a 2-week call timeout, you guys know him. You guys love him. Slav has been banned for 2 weeks. I know some of you won't like this. I don't care. He has got, not only has he got last week's episode demonetized, he got the week before that also demonetized. I don't know how it worked because they demonetized last week's episode. And then 2 days later, they're like, yeah, we got you on the week before too. Both Slav. A real habitual line stepper, that guy. Now, this, I'd like to be clear. This rule is not for him. It applies to everybody. If you do this, you will also get a 2-week ban. He is just so happens to be the first recipient of said ban. So if you tuned in to hear him, I'll see you in 2 weeks. And just to be clear, a second infraction will result in a 4-week ban. And third time, maybe permanent. I don't know. I haven't decided where strike 3 gets yet. I don't know if we're going to do a 3 strikes and you're out thing. But the point is, obviously, that eventually this is going to get my channel removed. And if I lose this channel, this show's over. This in the bathhouse, 100% they're done. If you think I'm going over to fucking Rumble and being one of those just Rumble-only guys, you're dead wrong. So, for the purpose of preserving this show, unfortunately, I do not make the rules. YouTube makes the rules. We're all watching this on YouTube, or at least 99% of you are watching this on YouTube. I know some of you are going to be actually quite pumped. He's the person I get the most complaints about from people who are tired of his shtick, if you will. Slav the Jew. Tired of his shtick. So anyways, you will not be hearing from him for the next 2 weeks. Again, it's a habitual thing. They got him for the F slur both weeks in a row. I guess you can't say that on YouTube. Is it gay? Maybe. Probably. But I don't make the rules. And again, we're at the 7 p.m. time. I'm probably going to stick to this 7 p.m. time. This is probably going to be going forward. It hasn't affected the views on the show at all. It seems like everything's pretty much the same, and it makes my life easier. So 7 p.m., new time slot for low value mail. All right, let's get to it. And then we'll open up the phone lines in a bit and we can hear from you. Well, we can hear from most of you. Most of you can call in. Trump is coming after his enemies. Guys, I'm getting so fucking tired of talking about this guy. Let me tell you, there's a lot of other things I'd rather talk about, but he leaves us no choice. Isn't that right? We just have no choice in the matter. And look, it was only a matter of time before this happened. I will be pretty honest about that. You know, I will say this as someone who's not American, love living here, great country. I will go as far as to say the best country in the world. America used to be above stuff like this. It's literally what made America, or one of the things that made America better than third world countries. You know, where you like, you know, those countries where you'll see a video and there's like, they're in their parliament or whatever the fuck they got going on there. Usually like Eastern Europe, maybe sometimes in Asia. And they're just having a fist fight. They're just literally just fucking beating the shit out of each other. America used to be like, yeah, we're better than that. We don't do that stuff here. But look, this was a fairly obvious outcome at this point, that this stuff would happen. I mean, the shit that the Democrats pulled trying to destroy Trump is endless. And now Donnie's getting his revenge. And can you blame him? That is if any one of us was put in his position, we would probably be doing the same thing. Okay? You know, you start with the Russia collusion shit, all the way to the lawfare, maybe even trying to kill him. Pure conjecture, but who knows? All the lawsuits, everything. They tried to destroy this man on countless occasions. It's not even, they weren't even subtle about it either. It wasn't like, hey, you know what? We're going to pick our spots on this one. They threw the fucking kitchen sink at the guy. He truly is the new Teflon Don. Suck it, John Gotti. There's a new Teflon Don in town. Right? Now, Trump is posting AI slop videos on Truth Social of Obama getting arrested by the FBI, which is, you know, surely what the best use cases of AI are, is a former president just getting cuffed by the FBI. I mean, it's a good video. I'm not going to lie. It's not a bad video. Now, this is never going to happen, obviously. We are not, just like we're not seeing Slick Willie Bill Clinton getting perp walk for his Epstein ties. You're not seeing Obama get arrested. It's not happening. It'll never happen. I mean, this isn't Brazil yet, anyways, where former President Bolsonaro, Jair Bolsonaro, guy has a literal ankle monitor on right now. The dude is like it seems hard to believe that the former president is on house arrest with a fucking ankle monitor. Like, what is he, a flight risk? He was the president because he's awaiting trial. The current president of Brazil was in prison up until 2019. I don't know what the hell's going on in Brazil. I'll tell you what, I don't want America turning into Brazil. I've been there. It's all right. I didn't think, this is a place I want to live. I do not. Nice place to visit. A lot of women walking around with thongs on. Besides that, that's about it. They have some good beaches. I'll give them that. They have some nice beaches. You know? And look, I suppose the case could be made that maybe that's better. No one is above the law. Like, maybe that is better. Where we go, yeah, we put ankle monitors on the fucking former president. I don't think it is, in a weird way. I understand that, you know, theoretically nobody is above the law, but, and I've always said this because I was always under the impression prior to Trump, you know, when he got his mugshot and he had to turn himself in for that stuff, and you go, I know that nobody's above the law, but it did kind of seem like, yeah, the president is above the law. Like, you know, besides getting some sort of slap on the wrist, you know, like a Clinton impeachment or having him resign, like Richard Nixon or getting your fucking head blown off. But for the most part, they are above the law because they probably have to do some things that are questionable to, carry out the duty as the president of the United States. Right? But it seems like, you give them a pass. We kind of just had this unwritten rule, right? And yeah, again, like I'm not even opposed to the idea of imprisoning presidents, but you can see how this could be weaponized by each side, similar to Brazil. Bad precedent. It's not a good precedent. And obviously we know that the Russiagate shit was horse shit. It was kind of the first time that left-wing people got online for conspiracy theories. Left-wing people, like conspiracy theories really very much seem to be the domain of right-leaning people for a while, besides like UFOs and aliens and stuff and like chemtrails and all like the hippy-dippy shit. Like left-wing people had the hippy-dippy stuff for the most part. That was the shit they really cared about in the conspiracy theory realm, as well as right-wing people, obviously. It was both. It was bipartisan. But the Russiagate was the one where you're like, oh man, these fucking left-wing people, a bunch of fucking conspiracy theory nuts, huh? And look, it's interesting because like Russia did in fact attempt to meddle in the election, but so what? I'm like, much like the United States probably meddles in elections all over the world. They're probably meddling in an election right now. There's an election going on somewhere right now in the world. And the U.S. government has some sort of cyber warfare team, and they're like, yeah, we have a preference of who wins this thing, and we're going to go make some memes or whatever the fuck. Got the goddamn shit show outside. I don't know if you hear all these sirens. I had to open the window because our air conditioner got stuck. Well, it didn't get stuck. I don't have any batteries for the remote, so I couldn't turn it off. And it's fucking freezing in here. But the idea that people are clutching their pearls over Americans would be meddling in other elections? Oh my God. Oh my God. Like, yeah, they meddle in elections. Russia meddles in elections. China meddles. I mean, China's been meddling in Canadian elections. It's crazy to the point where you're like, oh, that might be legitimately concerning. And I'm sure they meddle in elections here. Everybody's meddling. Everybody's been meddling. They are meddling, right? But look, Russia was not successful. Like, obviously, if you're like some fucking left-wing nut, you're like, yeah, that's the reason Trump got elected. If you're still thinking that, you are way too far gone. But it turns out that Obama didn't like the fact that Trump won, so then decided to start a campaign to make it appear as if Trump and Russia were colluding, because he didn't like the fact that it showed that Russia was unsuccessful and that there were no ties. So they just made all this shit up. And now Tulsi Gabbard's coming out and is basically saying, we might got a case on Obama. We might be sending Obama. Obama might fucking be wearing one of those ankle monitors. It's dirty stuff, no question. It's very, very House of Cards-like. But again, this shit's probably been going on in politics forever, right? Like there's zero chance Obama gets any kind of punishment in any way, other than maybe reputational, but even still, I don't think so. Like the guy's being punished enough for the fact that he has to go on his wife's fucking podcast. Like, that's punishment enough. If your wife has a podcast and you have to be a guest on it, enough said there. And you know what? I will say this because we still don't know. It'd be nice to know all this stuff. It'd be nice to find out something about Thomas Matthew Crooks. That would be nice. Nothing on that. Still fucking zero. Still zero. It's baffling at this point, because you think when Trump got in office, you'd be like, that would be priority number one. I think if any of us became president and someone tried to kill us and it was very mysterious and there was a potential that the government was involved or complicit anyway, you'd be like, yeah, let's check that thing out first. Can we maybe just like dig up the files on that, see what's going on? Nothing. It is very suspicious. I'm not going to lie. Stephen Colbert. A lot of you are very sad to hear this right now. I don't know if you guys know this, but comedy legend, which I say that sarcastically, but I don't know if you ever see the show Strangers with Candy. Man, that show was fucking one of the best shows ever. It was so funny. But now he's just, I don't know what he's become. Just a shill. I guess when people call someone a shill, this is like what they mean. This is just like, yeah, you get $16 million a year from some giant corporation, and they just are like, here's the stuff you're allowed to talk about. But so Stephen Colbert handed his walking papers last week, which, not to relate this to Trump, you go, what does this have to do with Trump? It's just late night's dead. People are streaming. But no, of course, many describing it as a chilling effect on free speech. As if Trump made the call and he's like, you know, this Stephen Colbert guy that who the fuck watches it? We got to get him off TV. You know what? Because he's like the only guy talking shit about me anywhere. So if we just get rid of him, then there'll be nobody talking shit about me, right? Which the show's terrible. I haven't seen it in forever, but I mean, we see the clips, which we only really watch ironically. Like, clips of Colbert only go viral because they're such a cringy hard watch. Like, is that a good system? Is that a good business model? To be like, yeah, only the bad stuff does well. I'm not even, by the way, there's literally down the street from where I am right now, there's literally a protest outside of the Ed Sullivan's theater of people, probably the same people who probably were protesting like Tesla dealerships like 4 months ago, but that's kind of over. They are literally protesting CBS over the cancellation of this show. They're like, we need to bring back Late Night with Stephen Colbert, which again, they say that 3 million people watch it. I think like the way it works is, you know, when you get the ratings, all they really care about is how many people who are like 25 to 49 watch it. I think it's like maybe 200,000 people. Like, it's literally like, you know, 70-year-olds watch this shit. Nobody, I don't even understand like who watches it. I don't know. I don't know. And, you know, people are like, oh, well, this show is booming. It's this powerhouse show. It's the highest rated late night show, which it is. That's not saying a lot. It's not, because it does worse than Gutfeld. But in terms of, I guess, you know, people will say, well, you know, there's one right-wing show and there's 3 left-wing shows. And if you combine all of those 3 shows, then they do better than Gutfeld. But Gutfeld still does better than even Colbert. But if Colbert is such a cash cow, surely some other network with a spine will come and be like, hey, we'll take him. We'll gladly take him off of your hands and his 200 staff and his $100 million annual budget. We'll gladly take him. That's money well spent. I mean, if it was an athlete, if some player gets cut from their team for whatever reason, if they're still good, someone picks them up, right? Isn't that how it works? But yeah, they get 3 million viewers a night. I don't know who these people are. I can't even understand the concept that someone would stay up to 11:30 p.m. on a weeknight to watch any late night show. Like, every late night show, you go, yeah, there's like 3 good clips that come out. Just watch them tomorrow on YouTube. That's it. Again, it's like, I don't understand where this 100... I understand that apparently it's like, he makes $16 million, so there's 16 of the 100. 200 staff, all unionized, not cheap. I think they spend $10 some odd million on the Ed Sullivan Theater. But it's like, why do you need to watch at 11:30 p.m.? Do you so badly not want to miss seeing Adam Schiff get interviewed live? Can't wait till tomorrow to see that sick interview with Adam Schiff? I mean, the show literally has the production value of the Adam Friedland show, which is a good show. Probably, I mean, it's a better show than Colbert. Adam Friedland show probably costs $5,000 to make one episode. Might not even cost that, to be honest. It might not even cost that. Maybe if you are like amortizing all the cameras and stuff, maybe. But it's like, it's just a guy at a desk and there's a person in a chair and some really cringe. There's a monologue, which I guess you need 10 professional writers to write that slop. I mean, I'm pretty sure fucking ChatGPT could do it, no problem. Yeah, I don't know. Lighting guys are probably expensive. But I don't know. I mean, it's a miracle that there's any late night shows, to be honest. Fallon, Kimmel. It's crazy that any of them exist. You're like, who watches this shit? I understand. I mean, they're eventually getting canceled. Like, the writing's on the wall. Conan was smart because he left early. The writing is on the wall. They're all getting canceled at some point. I understand networks are like, we don't want to cancel these, like, storied shows because, like, what do you replace them with? What do you put in that time slot? Like, I guess it's just a bad look to put an infomercial where late night with Stephen Colbert used to be. I guess. I don't know. I mean, it is crazy. You look at, like, Tonight Show. When Johnny Carson was hosting the Tonight Show, when the population of the United States was like 200 million-ish, he got like 13 million viewers a night. Now that's serious. 13 million viewers a night. That guy literally had like, what is that? 6-7% of the entire population? 6%? Something of the entire population of the country watch that show every fucking night. That shit's over, though. I'm going to talk about the WNBA quickly. I don't know why I'm talking about this. I don't know how I've resisted the urge to talk about the WNBA on the show for the last several years, but I'm going to talk about it briefly, and then I'm going to open up the phone lines. I was actually a pretty early adopter shitting on the WNBA, not to give myself too much credit, but I've been doing jokes about WNBA it's in my last special, and I've been doing it for a while. But the WNBA All-Star Game, which we, of course, all watched, was this weekend. And I think it was this weekend. Yeah, it was this weekend. And all the players came out at one point wearing a shirt that said, "Pay us what you owe us," which has become pretty contentious. I actually wasn't even going to talk about the WNBA because I'm like, who cares? But they do get a lot of... It is I will say the WNBA is a very fascinating case study in effective social engineering because they really did just kind of make this happen. Like, you know, they really... I don't know if there's some sort of cabal... Who's like pulling the strings behind all this? Because it's not a great product, obviously. But there was in concert, these decisions were made where ESPN's like, yeah, it could be like, I don't know, it could be a very important game in something else. Like it could be an NFL game. And when you open ESPN, it's like the first thing on ESPN's website is just the WNBA. And you go, why? Surely people care more about the NFL. I don't even know if those two seasons overlap, but, or like, NHL playoffs or something. I don't know. You know what I mean though? Like they will give the WNBA way more publicity than it deserves. Like they forced it upon us. Like a man like Harvey Weinstein would force himself upon some young harlot. And it's like kind of worked in an odd way. Now, again, we don't watch it. Maybe some of you do. I don't know. I don't watch it. And, people are like, oh, pay them more money. I'm like, they could make $10 million a year for all I care. How does this affect me? It doesn't affect me. And look, again, I wasn't even going to talk about the WNBA this week, but then I tweeted out that the WNBA uses a smaller ball, which was in my joke. And, but the hoop is the same size as the men. Right? Which you instantly go, well, that's easier. Like we've all been to a carnival, right? Where you have to sink the basket. And the whole carnival trick is they make the hoop much smaller. So then it's more difficult. If they made it bigger, you'd be like, that's easier. Obviously. Right? But the thing is the women still have a lower field goal percentage. Now I'm sure there's some reasons behind that. They can't dunk. They can still do layups though. That's a high percentage shot. But anyway, the tweet went super viral. So I'm like, okay, I guess people care about this more than I thought. And to be clear, because, someone might see this and you go, oh, another man think that you're better than them. I don't think I'm better than them at basketball. Like, this comes up all the time where if you're a man and you shit on the WNBA, people will be like, oh, you think you could beat them at basketball? I don't think I could beat them at basketball. I've seen some men being like, yeah, I just smoke smoke these women at basketball. You're like, no, you wouldn't. First off, their average height in the WNBA, it's 6 feet tall. You're not beating them at basketball. Like I'm not saying they're not good. They are obviously good at basketball for women. Caitlin Clark, she's amazing. For a woman, of course, but she's probably the best woman. Maybe not. I don't know. I know like 4 players, but she's objectively good. And she makes $78,000 a year, which is laughable. Okay. But the WNBA did in fact lose $40 million last year on $200 million in revenue. The game is growing. I'm starting to think that like you need to treat this more like a tech company, maybe, like a early seed company where you go, yeah, we just hemorrhage money like Amazon. Amazon for probably 15 years didn't make any money. We just fucking plow money into this shit. But eventually, once you turn that corner, you go, then we print money. But until then, we just lose so much fucking money, which is, I guess, what they're going for. I don't know. Like, there's no question the game's growing. They have, they just signed a TV deal for $2 billion over 10 years. Who the fuck watches this shit? I guess there's like those women's sports bars, which we talked about on the Boys Cast. There was this place called, I think, Portland called the Sports Bra, which is a sports bar. Good name. Wouldn't be caught dead there, but they're franchising. I think they just opened one up in New York. So I guess some people, there's not that much women's sports. I will say though, women's softball rips. You ever watch some college women's softball? That is some entertaining shit. But like the economics of the WNBA are basically the same as Major League Soccer. I don't know if any of you give a shit about Major League Soccer. Probably not. Franchise fees are similar. TV deal's the same. And the minimum salary is $100,000. And there's 900 players in the MLS versus 144 in the WNBA. But the problem comparing them, of course, is that MLS is the best soccer in the U.S. They have Messi, who makes $20 million deservedly. But as far as soccer goes, it's actually quite bad. Like anybody who's actually into soccer or footy or football, like they know, they go, yeah, MLS sucks. Like almost every player in the MLS would prefer to be in the Premier League or somewhere in Europe, even probably like a second tier league in Europe, right? Like the MLS is not good. The WNBA is still it's the top women's league in the world, but it's not even like it's like the fourth best basketball league in America. It's worse than the G League. It's worse than college. It's probably worse than the top high school players. It is. What am I saying? Of course it is. It's way worse, but I'm a free market person. So if people want to support and watch it, that's their choice. I guess they probably do deserve to be paid more money. I don't know, but the only way to do that is just go on a strike and see if people give a shit. It's the only way to do it. You got to call their bluff. Go on a strike, see if people give a shit. And with that, I promise to never talk about the WNBA ever again. All right, let's open the phone lines here. Phone lines are open, 1-888-949-2969. I want to hear from all of you except for one person who is on a 2-week ban. Like and subscribe to the channel, everybody. If you're an audio listener, make sure to follow the podcast, leave a review. Share it on your social media, Twitter, Instagram, whatever that stuff. If you enjoy the show, tell a friend. Just tell a friend. Just find a buddy, a pal. You having a beer, you go, you hear about this shit? This guy's talking about the WNBA. You can also sign up for the Patreon, patreon.com/lowvaluel, MAIL. Once I hit 500 patrons, I'm going to give away $500. It's probably never going to happen. But if it does, maybe it will. I don't know. We'll see. All right. Phone lines are open. 1-888-949-2969. And we have Steve Poikonen joining me in the second half. That's it. Everybody in the chat saying that they are Slav. A real, what is it? What is that movie? I want to say Ben-Hur, but it's not Ben-Hur. It's something like Ben-Hur. My brain's fried. I can't remember. Yeah. Slav did not get in trouble. Someone says Slav got in trouble for the facts. No, he didn't. He got in trouble for using the F slur, which I agree is gay. But I don't make the rules. And if I lose this channel, this show is over forever. Forever. And honestly, part of me is like, let him just fucking take it down. But I spend too much time doing this. And I understand this is a sunk cost kind of thing where you go, I can't ever get any of this time back. But I'm not going to do it. All right, let's go to across the pond. Your most favorite caller, everybody. James from Ireland. James, what's up, man?
Yo, Danny.
How you doing?
How you doing?
Very good. Spartacus.
What the fuck happened to Slav?
What do you
Bring him
mean?
back.
What happened to him? He's on a 2 week.
Yeah, I want him back.
No, he's on a 2 week timeout.
Can I take the ban instead for him? I'll take the ban. I can not call him for 2 weeks.
As much as people would probably be very in favor of that, that is not an option because he can't be trusted to. Again, I don't have like a dump button. I'm not going to go fucking re-edit every episode just to bleep out shit he says. So
come on.
This is his warning. He has 2 weeks to think about what he did. And I know for a fact he's going to call in and he's going to do it again. 100%. I have absolutely no question in my mind that the day he's in 2 weeks from now when he can call back in, he's going to go do it again. It is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah, but Slav, he was the best of us. You need to bring it. Like, can we have like a way to pay him? Like, can we get the money to like rate? Can that be a thing where you donate enough money and you bring Slav back? I donate money for that.
I mean, here's the problem. We could do something like that, sure. The problem being is that eventually, like, he got my main comedy channel demonetized for life.
Slav.
Yeah, like he got my channel demonetized for life. My other one. Like, eventually something's going to happen to this channel and then the show's over. Which I don't totally hate the idea of it. I'll get my Monday nights back. I'll get my Monday during the days back. I don't have to fucking deal with booking guests. None of this shit. But for the moment, we're going to do this like this. And again, it's for him, it's like he can call in and talk about whatever he wants. There's just like 3 words he can't say. It's not that fucking hard. And the N-word isn't even one of them. He can say the N-word.
You know what this is, Danny?
Yeah.
This is communism.
This is not communism. This is authoritarianism, actually.
Authoritarian communism. You're Stalin.
Sure.
You're Stalin, Danny. You're Stalin, Danny, and you come after the best of us.
He was a handsome man. I will take that comparison. He was a good-looking guy.
Well, I have things to say, but I don't think I can talk to you if you're not going to bring back Slav. Goodbye, you bastard.
All right. Hey, man. It's fine by me. It's fine by me. All right, let's go to Jimmy here. Jimmy Jam. Do we have Jimmy? Phone lines are open, everybody. 1-888-949-2969. And we got Steve joining us in the second hour. All right. Well, Jimmy is not unmuting himself for some reason. Don't know why. I'm surprised James was so upset. I feel like... Oh, here we go. Jimmy, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. How are you?
Very well. How are you doing?
I'm good. I don't know be Jesus incarnate because that guy was losing his mind.
Who's that? Lord. Say this again. You cut out there. You cut out there.
I don't know who Slav is. People are sorry. Yeah, I don't know who.
He's a very polarizing. He's a very polarizing figure. He is. He's a. I mean,
well, that's good.
Yeah, he's a regular caller to the show, habitual line stepper, if you will. But he keeps getting my channel.
Yeah, I just wanted to call in.
And I gave warning. That's the thing too. I'm not dropping this with no warning. I said this like a month or two ago. So this isn't like one of those things where I go, hey, where'd this come from? I said this a month or two ago. I go, this is the deal. Yeah. Anything you wanted to talk about? Yeah. Anything you wanted to talk about? He'll be back in 2 weeks. He'll be fine.
All right. Yeah, I just wanted to say, I think Barack, if he does go to jail, he's probably going to have a great old time. You know what I mean? He's been stuck with Big Mike's DC for a few years now, and I think he'll enjoy a nice change of pace when he's in there. But I do think it would be
Yeah, he's not going to jail. He is not even going to have like that's the thing. Tulsi Gabbard is like, yeah, we have all this fucking information, like doing all the shit. Literally nothing's going to happen. I would be.
No.
Like, I don't even think they're going to drag him in front of like a congressional hearing. Nothing. Dude, that guy is like political royalty. I mean, you know, he was probably the guy who was like running, like pushing the buttons when Biden was president. When he didn't know what the fuck was going on.
Yeah, someone was pushing that guy's buttons.
Yeah, it's like, dude, he was running the show for the whole Biden administration. He's not going anywhere, man. That guy's untouchable. The guy literally, well, I was going to say he killed his chef, but allegedly a chef drowned. Who knows?
He did though.
Who knows what happened?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah,
it's not happening, but it is crazy just to see like the president. I know that Trump is obviously different and we have a different standard for him, but like imagine fucking Joe Biden was posting AI slop of like George W. Bush getting fucking arrested by the FBI.
I mean, Joe Biden, he probably falls for AI slop on the daily. That guy probably sees like a cat 8 arms and just loses his mind. You see this, Jack?
Yeah.
You see what they're doing with cats now?
Yeah. He's one of them like Facebook boomers who has no idea what's going on. That I agree with. But
yeah, little kids
again,
singing about Jesus.
We have a different level we have a different like baseline of things we accept for Trump where we go, yeah, Trump's just in the meme game. I mean, the White House and like the Department of Homeland Security, their Twitter is like crazy. Like some of the memes they crank out and shit, you go, this is crazy. I mean, not in a bad way, but you're just like wild to see them kind of being like, let's just find the silver lining, the funny stuff in mass deportations. You go, that's not bad. Yeah.
Yeah. At least they're having fun. That's one thing you can say about Trump. Everyone's having fun with him in there, dude. No one's going to lose their job.
I feel like so. I mean, nobody's going to lose their job. He's the guy who fires
unless
everybody.
they piss him off.
Yeah. I mean, that working for him actually must be hell because you know that he loves to fire people. Like working for Biden, you go like, I'm in, and he's apparently the Department of Justice is like bringing a case against Jerome Powell, the head of the Federal Reserve, because he's trying to get Jerome Powell out because Jerome Powell is like the main thing that's sticking in between him and his grand economic policy with the tariffs and all that stuff because he needs the interest rates to come down. But you can't like he's the one who selected Powell initially. He's the one who hired him, and he's like he's the worst guy ever. And you're like, you hired him though. But so now they're basically saying that like he mismanaged a renovation of the Federal Reserve building, like they're renovating the Federal Reserve building, which I guess falls under his purview, and it's like a $2.5 billion renovation, and essentially they're like trying to fire him on those grounds that he fucked up the renovation, just because that's like the only way they can get him out. So I don't think he's a great guy to work for.
Trump must be though.
How pissed? I mean,
Trump
yeah. I mean, that's the
thing. Well, he
thing.
just spent his whole life like firing people, and now he's got to take them in front of Congress and stuff. He must be.
Well, there are a lot of people he can just fire. There's tons of people he can just fire.
Yeah.
But the head of the Federal Reserve cannot be fired, and he is literally like in the way of all of his plans. Like he's like his plans are, to be honest, and I talked about this months ago with the tariff stuff. Like everything is kind of falling into place with the tariff stuff for the most part. But the one key thing is they need to lower the interest rate. And Powell's just like, I'm not doing it. It's kind of fucking him over.
Yeah.
So, anyways. Anything else you want to talk about there?
No, that's all I got,
Cool. Thanks, Jimmy.
Brock's probably pretty excited. Shout out Independent Learn. Find you.
Cool. Jimmy, everybody. Let's go to Jared, but not the Jared. Speaking of the other Jared, never got me demonetized.
Hey,
hello.
Hey, man. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Hey.
You're on low value mail.
So, yeah, thanks, man. I've been, I've never called in. I listen every now and then, and I've been watching the Boys Cast for like 3 years whenever y'all started. But
hell yeah.
So the thing that I've been really thinking about, and whenever I pose this idea or question to people, like people that I know, they're all like, nobody's really interested in thinking about this future of what's going to happen here. But you were talking about it like a week or two ago.
Yeah, last week.
I mean, with the AI, like it's already bad. Like look at the inflation increase over the past 5 years. Like,
yeah, apparently to have the same quality of life now, to afford the same shit as 5 years ago, if you made $100,000 a year 5 years ago, you'd have to make $125,000 now to just have the same.
Yeah, I think it's worse than that from the numbers that I've seen. But the thing is that like, you know, they cook the books with the CPI numbers. I mean, I don't know if you've delved into this, but they changed
they revise them all the time, right?
Yeah. And so everybody's still thinking like, oh, you know, they'll get it down to 3%. It'll say like 3% or something like that. And it's like, dude, look at what happened even before 2020. It was not 3% or 2% or whatever they're saying. And if you look at like the decades of people making money, like how much they were making versus how much the inflation or housing or, you know, cost of living in general, it's only going to get worse. And the desperation that's going to come from the people that are already on the brink. I mean, credit card has never been this high as far as the amount of debt and people who are like on the brink. Yeah. And so the idea of like, well, now they're going to do AI taking over like all the lower paying jobs basically, or menial task jobs. And that's just going to be the beginning. And that's going to continue ramping up after that. It's like, I mean, what is the idea of like, is nobody else freaking out thinking about like,
I mean, I am,
yeah.
But I will say, like, you know, I guess if, you know, they're going to make everything more efficient, assuming that they go, okay, well, we'll lower the costs of everything to like compensate for the fact that nobody works at these places anymore, then you're like, oh, everything's cheaper. But you're like, there's still tens of millions of people potentially who are just out of work, like who can't afford anything. And you're like, what do you do with them? Like you can't have just like 30 million people who just like cannot feed their families. Like it's not a good recipe for having a.
No, not just that. It's like, you know, if the people who, and, you know, I'm not trying to say that like, I guess coming from the point of where I'm at, where I did well for the last few years, and like I feel like I'll be comfortable. And so like whenever you're at that place, I'm not patting myself on the back, I'm just stating a fact. And then you're like, well, I have to worry about, you know, if I'm having kids and, you know, what the world's going to look like as far as danger. And I mean, because all it takes for a good man to be desperate and do something violent is just to keep pushing him further and further like this. And so, you know, like we all know that like to have a reason for life and things that keep you from doing anything degenerate is because you've got a meaning to life. And that's usually like supporting a household and all this kind of stuff. But once you get to a certain point, it's just like, I don't know. I guess that shit just keeps me up sometimes. I'm just thinking about it like.
I mean, I think the answer is they're just going to have to do a UBI. Like there's just going to have to be a universal basic income. I can't see a real way around that because, you know, everybody's always like, well, you know, new industries pop up. And you're like, it's not going to be 30 million jobs just pop up in 5 years. Like it's way too many jobs.
No, I agree. But it also is like, I guess it's more of like a doomer mentality. I try not to stick to that idea of like doomer stuff, but you know, the idea of like I was saying, like having a meaning to life and stuff like that. Well, once you initiate UBI for all these families, it's just going to be, we're already in a sharp decline of like raising up good people and raising up good citizens. It's just going to go even further, I think. And it's like Blade Runner 2049.
Yeah. I mean, people will have less kids for sure. Like, unless you're like, unless there's a crazy financial incentive to have kids, then you're like, there'll be less people having kids. I mean, it'll definitely, like, I think the AI people are like, oh, like it'll be a net productivity benefit. And it'll be a net benefit to the economy. And you're like, maybe, like, I can't see it out that far where I see that happening, where maybe they're like, we are so flush with cash. We're like, but again, you're like, there's going to be a lot of people who maybe like their job isn't taken by AI. And then they're like, yeah, I make like a little more money than the guy whose job was taken by AI. I'd rather have all my free time and just have a little less money. And then you're like, I don't know. It's a bad incentive.
Yeah. Well, and I don't want to be a downer for the whole time. I had another topic if it got enough time to talk about it.
Yeah, go ahead.
So what is I guess I'm a little bit more skeptical than a lot of other people when it comes to like what the repercussions are going to be. And I don't really see anything positive coming out of a lot of things when it comes to government and everything like that. So what are people thinking whenever they're going on Twitter and like just openly saying stuff that like the tables could turn? Like, we don't know what's going to happen over the next 2 years. You could come back to an era where there's, you know, like a Kamala level censorship regime trying to take over. And then they just, I mean, obviously they're collecting the data of the people who are saying some stuff on Twitter. And I'm not trying to be a pussy about this either.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that,
you're just trying to be
I say stuff
it.
too. Yeah, I just don't want to put my name on anything.
Which is
like, it's going to come back to bite you, it feels like.
That is smart. And I mean, they can't arrest. There's too many people at this point who are saying crazy shit on Twitter, like where I think like it's just too many people where they could, but they'll make some examples. Like if you look at, was that guy Thomas Mackey or Douglas Mackey, the guy who I think he just actually got exonerated, but under like he did that meme, the voting meme or whatever, and he was facing like 7 years in jail and like, you know,
Remember
the meme of like you can just text in your vote or whatever, and then they were like that's like election interference or some shit, and you know you have to go through all these trials, and I think he just got like fully exonerated, like I think it was last week sometime, but. Again, a lot of times it's just like the process is the punishment where you go, yeah, I have to go through this. That's a punishment enough. Like the fact that you just have to go through it. So I don't know. I'm not like I could definitely see a scenario where like it pulls back a bit in terms of censorship and there's more of it. I wouldn't be surprised, but like it doesn't seem like Elon Musk is going to do that, but unless, you know. So I don't know.
And I guess like the last thing I'll say, because I know you guys take another caller, would be that like the to me, you know, Israel they don't fail in whatever they're doing. Like I mean, look at the past few decades. I mean, they get what they want, and this isn't a Jew thing; it's an Israel thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I've heard some of the callers that call in, and they're just like Jew this, Jew that, and it's like no, it's like. You're talking about a whole group of people, you know, we're talking about Israel and the elites in this country happen to be Jews. But anyway, besides the point, the Israel is net has not failed to achieve whatever they wanted. So like people who are just constantly talking shit about Israel and like this, like going to such levels, and you're like, you think you're not on a database list right now? And I guess some people don't care and they're not worried about it, but I'm just paranoid, I guess. And
I don't know. Again, if you're like an American citizen, like you have the right to criticize a foreign government. I don't think that's like.
Yeah.
You know, and also you're like if there's so much of that, like it's not isolated. So, like I wouldn't be worried about criticizing Israel. Like Israel's just going to do what they're going to do. Like you know, that's kind of my read on it is they're just going to do what they're going to do and.
But you know, because you've talked about AIPAC and how they control the lobby of Congress. I mean, it wasn't that long ago there was that bill that was coming up maybe like 2 months ago, talking about like if you are being anti-Semitic, then we can sue your company or like I can't remember, a fine of like whatever. I can't remember how much it was, but
that didn't get passed though, right?
No, it didn't. But I guess the point that I'm saying is that like. How is it not like coming to people's minds that it's like possible sometime in the future, you know, because like I said, they have not really not gotten what they wanted. And they basically pocket on politicians.
They made it criminal to, you know, like Holocaust denialism. They did manage to make that criminal, which is crazy. I will say that like that is, which is probably a factor in, you know, everything that's going on right now. It's kind of bubbled up from there because you're like, I don't know, you can deny anything but the Holocaust. Like, doesn't really make sense.
David Irving, OG.
Yeah. So I mean that is a weird
right.
one. Like as someone who's Jewish, I go, why can't you? I don't care. Like you can, like you're allowed to deny that the Earth is round. Like I don't know.
Yeah, I know, man.
But we'll see.
Well,
all right.
yeah. I hope to call back sometime, man. It's
Yeah.
good talking to you.
Call back later, man. Jared, everybody. All right. I'm gonna close the phone lines just because I'm not gonna be able to get to everybody here. Let's talk to conspiracy extremist. Oh. Conspiracy extremist. What's up, man?
Hey, what's up, Danny? How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Great. I got a couple questions for you, but I'll try to be fast.
Yeah, go ahead.
Are you sure? So you said you are allowed to say the N-word? It doesn't get you demonetized?
It hasn't yet. It hasn't yet because
So
I don't think their AI knows if it's a white guy or a black guy saying it, and there's black people who say it all the time, right? So
yeah,
you can say it. I mean, it's not a word. It's not a word I use, but you can say it. I mean, obviously, if I'm like singing along to a rap song, I'll say it all the time. But it's not really a word I use. But you can say it on YouTube. They have YouTube has pretty much opened up a lot from a few years ago. But that one word seems to really chap their ass, if you will.
Huh. I guess I missed the beginning on what the words were, so but you don't need
it was just the F slur for homosexuals.
Really?
Yeah. I
That's
mean,
my
2
favorite word.
weeks in a row. Literally two
Damn,
episodes in a row, both demonetized for the same person saying the same word.
Yeah, my channel's not monetized, so like I never think about it. But,
I don't even honestly. I don't like the getting demonetized sucks, but also like getting demonetized, I feel does affect the reach of the show. So it's like it not only is it hurting the actual show, but then it also is just bringing me one step closer to getting a strike and eventually just losing the channel. And at which point then the show's over. So
right,
I just don't feel like it's a good business idea.
Part of how you fucking get money and pay for food, so I get it.
I mean, I don't make any money from the show, so this is a labor of madness.
All right, so I have a question about AI.
Yeah, go ahead.
So you do all these awesome AI videos. What program? Can you tell me what program you use?
So I use for the audio. What is the thing?
11 Labs.
No, not 11 Labs. It's for the audio. Oh, here we go. I use it's called Speechify. And then for the video, I use this thing called Lip Sync. It's like Wave to Lip or like Lip Sync 1.9.0. You can use it on there's different sites. It's basically like an open model thing. But you can also use it on CapCut. The CapCut one is like hit or miss. Sometimes it just doesn't render for whatever reason. But CapCut has an AI thing that's actually pretty good. That you can do it inside of CapCut. And as long as you have the paid CapCut, which is like $10 a month, you can do it inside of CapCut. And it's pretty good.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Do they give you credits or is it unlimited?
Yeah, you get credits, and then if you use them all, you can buy more. But it's it's enough to make enough videos. I signed up for the VO3 thing, but I have not been able to make anything at all in it. I don't know how people, because it's taken over my Instagram reels and TikTok. It's everywhere. It's these AI slop videos, but I don't get how people make them because I've dicked around with it a lot, and I have not had it make me anything that was worthwhile.
Yeah. I've just been getting into that. I've been my new YouTube channel. All it is AI stuff.
Yeah.
And so with that being said, the AI, they were doing imagery, AI images, and they're getting better at that. Now they got these incredible videos because you can make really good AI videos, obviously.
Oh yeah. If you know how to prompt it properly, at least for VO,
exactly.
you can make really good shit. Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of the key. What do you think's the next big AI thing that's going to happen? So
we're going to see literally you're going to see someone's going to VO3. Its limitation is you can only make 8-second clips at a time because it uses so much compute power and energy essentially that it's it is expensive to use this shit. But Eventually they'll get all those costs down and you'll be able to crank out, like 2-minute videos. And then you're going to see like a full feature movie that doesn't have an actual person in it. That'll be like good. Like there'll be people like at that point, like you'll be having some, 12-year-old who just has unlimited time and is just going to make like some fucking crazy movie.
Do you think it'll be able to go outside of just like videos and stuff? Like what would be the next genre? I mean, like, are we gonna have like AI?
I mean, they already have like AI
like,
musicians and music, and I mean, it's gonna be everything. It's gonna take over fucking everything. Everything will
like
have
Terminator.
Dude, everything will have AI in it. It'll be all encompassing. Like it'll be everything you have. Every electronic device you own will have some level of AI in it. Your car, like everything. It'll be in everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, in a lot of ways, it'll be good. Like, I'm not like a doomer on like, this is bad. Like a lot of it's cool and is really useful. I'm just like the shit where they're like, yeah, we're replacing the guy who chops fucking tomatoes at Chipotle. I'm like, that's probably not good.
Yeah.
Or like getting rid of every Uber driver in America and every delivery driver. I'm like, that's probably not good for different reasons.
Right.
I mean, I like if I take an Uber and there's no person in it and it gets me from point A to point B, potentially more safely because there's no user error anymore and it's cheaper. I'm like, I have no problem with that.
Right.
But
I
can see how this could be an
replace
issue.
Things like comedy and art, and I don't know if it's ever. I don't really believe it's ever going to be as good as what human invention is.
Probably not. But again, like like it's not going to replace like live stand up because like people want to go out and see a thing and like do something in person and but it'll replace a lot of it will replace a lot of artists' job who make like kind of shitty art. Like, like if you work in fucking advertising and you're like, yeah, I make like radio ads. You're like, it could probably replace that right now. Like,
well, yeah, people are already doing that.
That's what I'm saying. But it's like, if you like, I've done ads on the radio before and you're like, yeah, there's fucking a dozen people involved. And they're all making lots of money and you have to like go into a studio and record. And there's just like all those people are just going to be replaced. You're like, cause they're not making anything of real substance. Like they're just making this fucking repetitive garbage. Cause they have, cause Dunkin' Donuts has like a new fucking donut out for the next 2 weeks. You're like, that shit is like commercials, all that stuff. I mean, I've already seen good, like Kalshi came out with an AI commercial. I was like, it's probably better than most commercials on TV. Like, probably took fucking a day to make it, and $500.
I got two last things. I'll move on. One, in honor of Slav, you did mention like people getting money for having kids. There was this really cool world leader back in like the 1940s. Who did that, and basically women could have a bunch of kids and then it'd pay for everything.
They should do that. I agree with that. That's a good policy. I think Putin's doing something like that where he gives you like a gold medal, like some sort of like military medal if you have like 10 kids. You get like some sort of recognition if you have 10 kids. But I mean, America is the fact that they're not doing this here, or at least like making IVF free or something. Like they need to do something here because the writing's on the wall. Like the population is like, you put population, like people not having kids, and then you're going to clamp down on like immigration. You're like, I don't know if people know that that's probably not going to work out the way people think it's going to work out.
Well, they need to promote having big families instead of demonizing white people.
I mean, we're past promoting anything. They're like, they need to fucking give you money to do it. Like, we're way past like, hey, we need like some fucking wholesome ads or some shit. You're like, we're way past that. They need to be like, here's money, go have kids. And I mean, I guess they kind of do that in a like, not unfortunate, but like in a weird way with like all the welfare shit. But you're like, most people who are like not living at that level are like, yeah, that's not enough money. Like they need to really incentivize people to have kids.
Yeah,
but then maybe that's the problem. Maybe the problem is they go, yeah, it's going to be like the same people who are on welfare are just like, we're giving them way more money. And they're like, we don't want more of those kids. I don't know. I don't know the solution here, but they need to do something. Doing nothing.
Yeah. I mean, I have 4 kids and like, I get like $6,000 back on my taxes. It's nothing compared to
Yeah, you're like, does
what-
that even cover your fucking daycare?
No, but my wife doesn't work. But
Well, there you go. I
you
guess.
have
But you're
daycare.
like-
There's no way.
yeah. I guess once you have 4 kids, you're like, it would be costlier for her to work than to just take care of the kids. But I mean, they need some incentives. I don't know what, but they need some more incentives.
Well, that German dude. Just saying. Last question. Do you have any plans coming back to Arizona yet?
At the moment, no, but I will be back at probably the House of Comedy at some point. I'm just got to get a date.
Sweet. All right. Yeah, I just keep checking on your website, but haven't
Yeah,
seen anything yet.
I'll promote it like on the show and Boyscast and stuff once I find out.
Hell yeah. All right,
Cool,
man.
buddy.
Good talking to you.
All right, later. Oh, it's already 8:00. All right, I'm gonna take one more caller because we got Steve waiting for us. Unfortunately, okay. If I don't get to you, I apologize. You can call back during the show. I do apologize. Hello, Mark.
Hey, Danny, what's up?
What's happening?
Obviously, this is kind of related. The word I can't say, but I'm just really struggling with how funny I'm finding a man who died. Obviously, in Toronto, this woman got stabbed, and that's not funny at all.
That's not funny.
But the guy who got sucked into the MRI
I
machine,
saw that. The guy.
It's pretty fun.
What was the
It's
deal?
pretty
He was
fun.
wearing like a 20-pound
Okay, so
chain.
he was wearing a 20-pound chain around his neck, and his wife was getting the MRI, and he didn't even have permission to go in there. He just barged in there, and he got flipped around literally like a rotisserie chicken, like Magneto, and he got sucked into the machine. And you're talking about AI, and I'm just thinking, maybe we're not worth it. How many signs are there saying no metal, no metal, no metal? This guy just confidently struts in there, and he gets sucked into the machine.
The M in MRI, magnetic. It's a giant magnet. Not
But
that
it's
I would
kind of fun, is it not? Is it wrong that I'm finding this funny?
It is a bit of like a Darwin Award kind of thing, where for sure you're like, yeah, that's pretty nuts that the guy got. When I first heard the story, I was like, he went in with it on, but I didn't realize he was just barged into the room.
He did not have permission to go in. The wife said, "Hey, come help me up," because she was just getting her knee done or something. She's like, "Hey, come get me off this." The doctor's like, "No, no, 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 no," and then he just struts in there and then flips him around, and then he gets sucked into the machine and chokes him out. And the wife's just like, turn it off, and he's just like, call 911, panicking. I don't know what I would have done in that situation. I might have laughed. It's just literally Final Destination shit, but it's in real life. And
yeah, but the Final Destination it feels like it's not preventable in Final Destination. This seems like it's very
they would have said
preventable.
this was too stupid. There's no way anybody would have ever done this.
Yeah. This does seem like way, way too stupid. Yeah, very stupid. Anyways, man, I gotta let you go. I'm sorry. I gotta get to our guest. He's waiting for us.
Take care.
Thank you. Later. All right, everybody. We are going to be back in just a few minutes. Please do not go anywhere. We'll be back with Steve. Sit tight. See you in a few minutes. Oh. All right, and we're back, everybody. Thanks for waiting patiently. Joining me today is Steve Poikonen. Is that the correct pronunciation?
That is the exact correct pronunciation.
Finnish?
Holy crap, I'm sending it is Finnish. My God, you get 2 fruit baskets.
There we go. There we go. I like a nice fruit basket. I watch a lot of hockey, so tons of Finns in hockey. That's why I correctly assume that. So how you been, man? It's been a while.
It has. I've been good. I've been busy. I see you've been the same. And no, that's fantastic. Glad to be here.
So we got a lot to talk about. So I don't know if people know, but you host Slow News Day, which I've been on, AM Wake Up, pretty much, 5 days a week?
Yeah.
5 days a week. You guys can check that out. I want to ask you, so you have this Third Eye Carnival that you're doing. Tell people about that. That seems pretty cool.
So a couple of years back, we wanted people to. This is coming out of COVID, right, and all the lockdowns and stuff like that. So we really saw a need for people to get together, 3-dimensional space, just like everybody who holds a microphone does, and we wanted to combine an art form or two with real conversation in a place where people could bring out a few of their friends who maybe weren't exposed to the kind of conversations that we normally have on the show, and just kind of give them a fun environment to do that. So for the last 3 years, we've been putting these on. It's live music, live stand-up comedy, and live podcasts in front of as many people as we can put into one room. They've been a tremendous amount of fun. Tripoli's headlined one of them. Kurt Metzger showed up. Leonardo Joni's been there for the stand-up. Brad Binkley from the Propaganda Report. Got a buddy who's twisting Brett Ernst's arm a little bit to come out to the one we're doing in El Paso in October, along with a couple other killers that I know from my time in Vegas. And yeah, dude, it's, basically everything that you would want out of a live music, live comedy, live podcast within the realm of, we don't really trust our government, and we're going to have a lot of fun talking about it.
Sure. That's cool. Is it a full weekend?
Yeah. The one in October is the 17th through 19th. We were in Pueblo, Colorado for 3 days at the beginning of the month. We were in Nashville, Tennessee earlier this year. And basically we want these to be replicatable, not scalable. Nobody wants to do a stadium show.
Sure.
As far as that goes for what we're trying to do. So we want these in as many shithole blue collar towns as we possibly can, because that's where people are honestly most capable.
Nice. Cool. Well, people, everybody, if you're in the El Paso area, go check that out. Sounds like a fun time. So, Mark told me you had some thoughts. I was talking about the WNBA at the beginning. You had some thoughts. Are you a big WNBA stan? Big fan?
I try as hard as I can.
Well, you're a better man. You're a better man than I.
I grew up in Indiana. Basketball is in my blood, but I was short until I was 16, so I sucked at it. And then they kicked me out of the state because I couldn't properly grab a rebound. Did you ever see the Are you a fan of the Boondocks? I've seen
a little bit of it. I haven't seen like a ton of it though, but I know the show.
Ever seen the episode where the younger brother Riley decides that Santa really, really owes him?
No, I don't remember that.
This Boondocks episode, Danny, encapsulates to me the entirety of the WNBA conversation, because it's a spoiled brat who has access to way too many toys and way too much money, demanding that somebody else, in this case Santa, pays him what he owes him.
Sure.
Now,
I mean, I was saying off the top, like, you must admit it is a pretty impressive feat of social engineering that they have been able to make it as popular as they have, because like they really did, like, women's sports has been pushed so hard, like to the point where certainly not on like a meritocracy basis where they're like, oh, like people are like, oh, wow, look at how amazing. Like, you know, because there's been like the Williams sisters, like they didn't require some sort of external push. People were just like, yeah, they're amazing. And, you know, they became like huge celebrities and huge stars or whatever. But like WNBA specifically, like, you know, you go on ESPN's homepage, it's like the top thing on their homepage. It's pushed fucking everywhere. They put it on ESPN. I mean, I remember like, I think when Caitlin Clark was still in college, like they would show, it would be like the, you know, March Madness, and they would show just like a random women's game over like, you know, some top team in college basketball playing. And you're like, how the fuck do I even find this? So like, it was a choice that they made to do this, but it seems like it's kind of working. Oh, he muted himself. My bad. This happens. It happens from time to time. Sorry, Steve. I have to turn the allowing people to mute themselves off because then guests would do it or the callers would do it.
Yeah, no, I automatically hit
happens
the mute
all the
button
time.
when
Honestly,
you're talking.
happens. Honestly, happens all the time.
It's a very interesting thing, man. It really is because we're
talking about it right now.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Well, because it's kind of funny.
It is.
But
funny.
like there's two entities right now that have been able to basically skate by despite costing the parent company tens of millions of dollars, and that's the WNBA and Stephen Colbert.
Yeah.
And Stephen Colbert effectively is the Angel Reese of late night. So I guess this does track a little bit.
Yeah. And I mean, I kind of said the WNBA, like they're kind of treating it a bit like a tech company, right? Where you're like, you put all this money in and you just plow fucking millions, hundreds of millions of dollars in, because the hope is like one day it'll turn the corner and then you're like, this thing's like printing money, right? But, you know, and like you go, like fair enough, you have to invest some money. Like you're not just going to organically build a WNBA, but it's just one of those things where like, it's really not that good. Like, and it's not even the type of thing, like, I don't know, are little girls really into the WNBA? Like I see guys like anecdotally around New York City, like I will see guys wearing WNBA merch, but I can't tell if it's ironically or not.
Yeah, that kind of seems like a virtue signal.
For
to me.
sure. I mean, it is cheap. Like, I mean, there is this thing where like, you know, unless it's like the Indiana Fever are playing, like you can go see a game for probably $20. Reminds me of, you know, the Canadian Football League or something.
30 years ago, my brother lived in Oakland, California, right by the Coliseum, and A's day games were like $12 because they sucked.
Sure.
And yeah, it was great. It was fantastic.
Well, those are still the best baseball players in the world.
It's true.
That's true. The thing is, like, you have to like concede where you go, these are the best women basketball players in the world. But then if you rank them against all basketball players, you're like, they're not even the top 10%.
If you rank them against 16-year-olds, they're not.
That's
even
what I'm saying.
The top
yeah,
10%.
like you know, they couldn't even compete with like the McDonald's All-American like high school teams or whatever. None of that stuff.
So we're subjected to an enormous amount of dishonesty in the marketing, which may be a stretch because I was taught to believe that the marketing was always true. However, in this instance, seems to be a little bit off, and so I guess people are being like forced into a position to accept a fake version of reality by which losing $40 million makes you a giant winner and deserving of perhaps at least double that.
Yeah. I mean, I actually do, like, you know, I've ragged on them a lot, like, because I was comparing them to Major League Soccer. They probably do deserve, like, Caitlin Clark makes $78,000 a year. She for sure deserves more money than that.
Yeah.
No question. But you're like, if you're on the bench, you're the 12th player on a WNBA team, you're like, you don't deserve more than that. That is more than charitable for you. It's like, just like Messi does deserve $20 million to play in Miami. Like, yeah, he does deserve that. Like, if the certain people, but like to just say every one of them deserves more money is crazy. All right.
Well, here's the thing, man.
Yeah, go ahead.
Major League or international soccer has a great union, and they've got a great way of bargaining. Same with Major League Baseball. Like heads and shoulders, it's phenomenal in terms of player support. but what the players do is also support the team and generate revenue for it. And therein lies the problem, because the WNBA as an organization isn't necessarily doing that. You got a couple of faces for it who aren't being paid, probably what they should be. But it's gotta balance out at some level, and wearing a couple of t-shirts at an all-star game probably isn't the best way to put forth that message.
I mean, they just got to go on a strike and then see how much people care.
Yeah.
Really, that's at this point. Just go strike. Be like, we're taking time off until we get paid, and then see if anybody cares. I think the owners are probably like, you guys are making a big mistake here, because they're like, I don't think people are going to care as much as you think they do. Like, Caitlin Clark will just go do fucking talk shows, and people will care about that, and they're like, they're not going to care. You guys
They give her a show on ESPN.
That's what I'm saying. And then they'll just be like, yeah, most of you, 99% of you people are not going to care about you. All right, enough WNBA talk. I want to ask you about this synthetic psychedelics thing.
Okay, so this is a recent phenomenon, and it may be, maybe difficult by looking at me, but once or twice in my life, I have taken psychedelics.
Sure.
And I have seen a rise over the last several years in some of the tech oligarchs that are currently in the Trump administration, propping up a couple of legal psychedelic companies under the guise of therapy. And what they're doing with the actual product is removing everything about it that would give you any sort of insight or access to the divine, and just making your brain malleable.
What specifically? Like, what are examples of this?
So,
like DMT, like the MEO5?
Pardon?
Like the DMT MEO5, like that?
So 5-MeO DMT is kind of a different thing in terms of,
because that's like
class
actual
of psychedelic.
Yeah.
There have been specific companies that are both backed by Peter Thiel that operate out of the United Kingdom that have patents on synthetic psychedelics for both LSD 25 and psilocybin, which is the active compound in mushrooms. And what they've done is they've created, do you remember a product, I don't know, late 90s, early 2000s? It was a synthetic version of THC, and they called it Marinol.
I remember hearing about that. Yeah. I do remember hearing about that.
Total abject failure, because they were synthesizing something that your brain already has natural receptors for. It's a very similar overlap in the field of psychedelics. They've removed particular compounds from it because they've been able to isolate them. And what it does is it still makes you open to suggestion, it expands your mind a little bit, but the things that would push you over the edge, particularly where dosage is concerned, have all been eliminated from that process. So you're, under the guise of your therapist, effectively an MK Ultra patient at that point.
Yeah. And so there's, I didn't even know there were synthetic like psilocybin, because it seems like a fairly, I don't want to say harmless, obviously, but like, you can't overdose on magic mushrooms.
Mostly benign.
Yeah, mostly benign. I mean, if you take too much acid, you could definitely, I know somebody personally who, I mean, he's an idiot, but he had, I think I've said this before, but he had like, he was on vacation and he had 2 vials of liquid LSD. One of them was concentrate and the other one was diluted. And he couldn't remember which one was which. He like didn't label them properly, which is idiotic. And then he was with this girl and he's like, let's do acid. And he thought that he was doing the diluted one and he did the concentrated one. So he took 200 hits instead of 2 hits of LSD. And I saw him afterwards, like a couple of years later. I go, that's a different guy now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was like, he had to go to the he was in India and he had to go to the hospital. And he's like, they had to like strap him down to like a gurney for 2 days because he was like freaking out.
I bet.
Yeah.
No.
But LSD can be dangerous. No question. But like psilocybin, you think like, why do you need a synthetic psilocybin?
Well, that's kind of my point, is that you really don't. The only reason that you would is because you've discovered how to isolate particular parts of it, take out the things that you don't want the patient to receive for whatever reason you don't want them to receive it, and leave in the things that are going to, I guess, help shape their new reality.
Yeah. Yeah, that is a weird one. That and are they trying to push it? Like, are they trying to get it approved in the U.S.?
There's a bunch of different places. I live in California. There's a bunch of different places that already do ketamine and psilocybin therapy.
Yeah, there's a place by my house that in Brooklyn that does ketamine therapy. That's become pretty popular.
There's an organization in Santa Cruz, California called MAPS. The multidisciplinary, something of psychedelics, been around forever, heavily connected to both the Esalen Institute, Stanford, and by proxy, the CIA. And they've really been pushing this. And they started with MDMA as therapy on PTSD veterans.
And are they moving towards trying to give them
mass public broad spectrum psychedelic therapy?
Yeah. What are your thoughts on kratom? You a kratom guy?
I've taken it on and off over the last probably when I quit drinking in 2016.
Okay.
Heard it was good for some of that. Also had some headaches and stuff. I've taken it on and off. I wouldn't recommend going and getting anything from your head shop or your smoke shop. Like there are people that want to put decent leaf inside you, but you build up a tolerance for it really quick.
That is a weird one, that because people essentially be like, it's it's like an opioid, or like binds to your opioid receptors. But I'm like, I never understood how the government here is so quick to crack down on anything that you can get high on recreationally, it seems like. And that one they've just kind of given a pass on, like, indefinitely.
It's a little because there's a huge lobby for kratom in the U.S. And this is something that I had no intention of ever learning, but it's got a huge amount of support in all kinds of places that you wouldn't think of. And every time the FDA tries to ban it on the federal level, there's massive pushback from all kinds of just regular people that will go and show up at a council meeting or a Senate hearing or something like that to testify to the benefits of it. So they're in kind of a gray area. The problem is it's a substance that occurs naturally, that you could grow on your own. And that's when the government's like, oh, well, that eliminates our control and our ability to tax and regulate. So we don't like that. And that's what we're in the business of. So we would like to, become the third party in this enterprise.
You can just grow kratom? Like, it doesn't require special climates or anything?
It does. You have to augment your environment a little bit.
Is it illegal to produce your own kratom?
As far as I know,
can't be,
no.
Right? Yeah.
I don't know if there's been a mass scale project for it. When I lived in Santa Cruz County, they decriminalized all plant-based psychedelics for personal growing and use. So if you wanted to, you could have a peyote garden. It'd take you 7 or 8 years, but you could theoretically do it.
Right. I guess kratom's cheap enough where it's like it's not like weed where you're like it's probably cheap enough where there's no incentive for it. I want to ask you about a couple things, but like stable coins and central bank digital currency. So there's been a lot going on with that right now. Did the big beautiful bill basically rule out a central bank digital currency?
So here's the bait and switch for it. Okay. So there's been a declarative statement with the United States government will not issue a central bank digital currency, which is all well and good, but it doesn't say anything about how it's being processed on the back end. At the same time, they've incorporated the entire PayPal mafia into the Trump administration. Peter Thiel, Joe Sachs, David Sachs, Joe Lonsdale, and at least for a time, Elon Musk, who I'm sure still has a little bit of influence here and there, But regardless, there's the Tether guys that are part of the administration and Howard Lutnick. So the crypto and Trump and I think Bobby went to the Bitcoin conference last year, both of them.
Yeah, they did,
and
yeah.
spoke at it. This is something that they've moved on heavily. The Trump sons, Eric and Donald Jr., very heavily involved in various different cryptocurrency enterprises. Like this is what finance is going to become in the future, especially if they get their way.
I mean, it seems like the best, at least stable coins, like it does seem like the best use case for crypto. Like I still don't know like the exact off ramp for it, but you're like, yeah, if you just, the amount of Americans, or not Americans, but people who are in America who, send money back home from wherever they're from, and they still use like Western Union and shit like that. Like these, all these like remittance services that charge like crazy high fees. And, everybody probably at some point in their life has had to do like a bank wire, and you're like, it's just, it's not the most efficient process. It costs a bunch of money.
No, but at the same time, I used to be on a platform called Rockfin that was tied to Ethereum, and trying to convert that from their Ray token to Ethereum was substantially higher than sending a Western Union fee, and then cashing out the ETH to a US dollar was a secondary transaction.
Right.
So
and a huge hassle and a huge process. And
and you were effectively getting, taxed on it 2, if not 3 times.
Yeah. I've done some like crypto things where you're like, you have to convert it like 4 times before you can actually use it for something.
You have to construct a doll. You have to put the doll out in the middle of a cornfield at exactly midnight under a full moon. Like it's
Yeah. And so, because you're talking about like Trump, and he has all these kind of tech guys around him, like that. You think that was kind of by design, like that?
So there's the UN Agenda 2030, and there's been people that have been trying to push universal currency, which I think will probably take another 25 to 30 years after 2030 to
universal as in like a universal like for the world.
A one world currency. I mean, Sam Altman tried to push it with WorldCoin a few years ago.
Oh, okay.
It didn't really jump.
I didn't know
off.
he was behind WorldCoin. That was before ChatGPT.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was the whole like publicity stunt where they had people lined up around buildings.
Right, with like, and it like took your photo. Yeah, you scanned your eye or whatever, and it gave. Yeah. I didn't realize that was Sam Altman.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. And Altman was introduced day 2 of the Trump administration as one of the masterminds behind Stargate, which is the mRNA platform for the panacea of all disease, along with Larry Ellison and the guy from SoftBank. It's shaping up to be the technocratic transhumanist future that Elon Musk's grandfather imagined when he was part of the original technocrat movement coming out of the eugenics movement in the 30s in Canada.
What was the Canadian eugenics movement? What's that?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the eugenics movement was largely popularized in the West, mostly through Julian Huxley and then Blavatsky and the Theosophists and stuff like that. But what came out of that was the transhumanist movement in the late 30s. I have a couple of things I can send you later on it. But Musk's grandfather was part and parcel of that, got arrested a couple of times for it. And that's when the Musks ultimately left Canada, took up root in South Africa, for Musk to come back to Canada years later and then go to college in the States.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know there was a tie in there. I'm going to open the phone lines actually. 1-888-949-2969 if anybody has any questions for you. I have a few super chats actually I got to read. Someone says, amazing disgrace. Let's hit that goal. One brick in the wall. Schneid Time says, that guy inspired me. And then amazing disgrace says, ignorant posers deserve what they got in life. They did it to themselves. I don't know what that means. So what kind of other shit are you worried about right now? There must be a lot.
I mean, look, okay, so there's worry, but I've looked at this era that we're in as one of ultimate opportunity.
Yeah. Like, are you worried about AI? I'm a bit of a doomer.
Yeah, I am, because the people who created it are worried about it. And when you listen to them talk, and when you listen to they say what the applications are actually meant for, it's very, very different from, making a meme or trying to get ChatGPT to do your fucking homework.
Sure.
So
what do they say the applications are for? Like when you ask them?
I mean, the guy who is considered the godfather of AI spoke recently in, all of the fancy, like, Al Smith dinner tuxedo type wear in front of the British Parliament, giving a huge warning about all of this, saying this is about complete and total control of the human being. And Larry Ellison, who, I mean, people talk about Peter Thiel a lot, and they should, but Larry Ellison and Oracle is the precursor to Peter Thiel and Palantir. Their first client for 7 years was the CIA. Palantir's first and only client for 3 years was the CIA. And then they branched out a little bit. But Ellison has said, well, this is how we get to zero crime, because once you're monitored at the biological level, 24 hours a day, you won't be able to commit crime, because we'll stop you before we start. The first Trump administration, with Bill Barr as the attorney general, implemented a pre-crime division that went live in the U.S. Department of Justice January 1st, 2021.
And how does that even work? Like, how did that work under Bill Barr?
Okay, so do you remember that? And maybe you don't. I don't know. Maybe the audience does. But there was a particular moment in 2019, maybe, there was back-to-back mass shootings, and one of them was in like San Antonio or something like that.
Like the Uvalde one?
No. It was a couple of years before that. There was one in Texas and then one in Missouri, and Bill Barr had said about 3 weeks prior, we need to give the intelligence community and law enforcement the tools that will help them prevent these crimes before they happen.
Sure.
Because who knows, we could just live in an era where there's multiple mass shootings every day. And 3 weeks later there were, and then the very next Monday, Trump came out and said, we have to give law enforcement the tools. This was his quote: to scour the darkest corners of the internet to stop these criminals before they commit crimes. And then January 1st, or it might have been 2020, but a pre-crime division officially opened up within the DOJ. There was a fairly high profile arrest of a dude. He was a lefty. He was like an Antifa guy who went to the Capitol in Jacksonville, Florida, to stop the Proud Boys from storming it. And he's still in prison right now for threatening to defend his Capitol with guns if need be.
And what was what's the charge? Like, has he been
pre-crime? You were going to commit these crimes.
But so he's been convicted. Like, what was the actual charge he was convicted of? I imagine that's not like
conspiring to commit these crimes.
Right.
Yeah.
And they just gave him kind of like a long sentence, and that's that.
So far, it's been 4 years, 4.5 years.
Huh. Does this pre-crime thing at the DOJ still exist?
Yes.
Like this division?
Absolutely.
And what do they say they're doing?
Preventing horrible things from happening to your children or your grandmother or your dog or apple pie or baseball.
Sure. And they're using AI essentially is what they're saying.
Well, what they're using is advanced facial recognition technology, fusion centers, which I don't know if you guys talked about these or not.
No, I don't know what that is. What's a fusion center?
Fusion centers are where local law enforcement and federal law enforcement, and then sometimes international law enforcement, all share an office, a physical location, and data. with each other. So they make in-house determinations as to which agency actually gets to go, take care of business, crack skulls, whatever they need to do. But fusion centers have been around for a very, very long time at this point, especially in the internet age, like at least 10, 15 years. And operating in basically every major metropolitan area that you could mention.
And do they like proclaim themselves to be successful? Like, do
always.
they say
That's how you justify your next budget?
Right. They're just like, look at all the crime we're preventing, and you're like, what crime? And they're like, exactly.
That's how you know. That's how you know. And even if you point to high crime areas, what the FBI stopped doing in 2020 or 2022 was reporting specific crimes.
Yeah. I remember that. All right, let's take a call here. We got a caller on the line. If you'd like to call in, phone lines are open, 1-888-949-2969. We got Tony. Tony, are you there?
Hey, Danny.
What's
hey,
up, man?
Steve.
What's happening, Tony?
No, not much. Cool that you got Steve on. Steve's a cool dude. The Third Eye Carnival sounds awesome. I already know I can't go to this next one, but I'm going to be listening for all the dates. So the next one I'm going to be at.
Cool.
Heck yeah. Well, hopefully we'll be in Vegas this winter, but we'll be back in Tennessee, Colorado, and then next year, Florida, Massachusetts, and California.
Oh, so you do multiple ones per year?
Yeah. I really do want these in every shithole blue collar town in America or surrounding areas. Yeah.
Nice.
Just for it, Steve, is it like a camping thing pretty much?
It depends on where we're at. In Tennessee, we camp. In Colorado, it's a hotel or Airbnb. El Paso's mixed. In California, it's definitely going to be camping because we can't afford the kind of venue where that isn't on somebody's private property, because it just sucks to try to, rent that out for a weekend here.
Yeah, I totally hear you. It's this guy, Tony Coriolis is my name. And then I know Balderson because I met him in the Vegas, Flattoberfest thing. And he was cool, but yeah, they do have really cheap Vegas places to do it out there.
Yeah, we've been trying.
I think it'd be manageable.
Yeah.
We've been trying.
Have you ever been to
that Dave Weiss money goes a long way.
You ever been? Yeah, he's been on the show before.
Yeah, totally.
You ever been to Flattoberfest?
I personally have not been to Flattoberfest, but the gentleman he's referencing, Ben Balderson, fucking known that guy for like 10 years. We lived together at one point, and I'll vouch for that crazy Odinist bastard because I love him.
So was it you, Tony, who told me about Flattoberfest?
Yeah, that was me.
Yeah, that was you, yeah. Sounds like a fun
I
time.
just know Steve because he's on a show with Balderson, but I already knew Steve kind of through Brad Binkley a little before, and Union of the Unwanted. So I've been seeing you for a while, Steve. I like you. And one thing, Steve, that you said when I first was checking out your show, you shouted out old tech and how it really does need to come back. I love that. That is so where we need to go with this. Danny, you said in the earlier segment that AI is going to be implemented in like everything, all the new cars and stuff. Yeah. I want old tech to come back, and I really did hear that from Steve. So I'm in that same.
I mean, what's preventing you from, I guess, implementing old tech, like personally?
Well, like with the cars, they're just building them stupider and stupider. They're going to put AI in cars. I want cars to be as they were 10 years ago.
Yeah.
The last mass manufactured automatic standard transmission, manual transmission vehicle is being produced next year by Nissan. They're putting out the very last 5-speed. If you're rich, you can order a 6 or 7-speed McLaren that's got the paddle shifter on it. But a regular standard transmission is unavailable to the public as of the last manufactured Nissan coming out next, I think May, maybe June.
Huh.
We covered this on the show. It's the only reason it's in my head.
And is that like from...
Yeah, and I heard they stopped making pennies too.
Well, the penny thing is stupid. Not that they stopped making them. The fact that I've always said, because I'm from Canada, and I go, one of the few things Canada got right before America was just phasing out the penny. They're like, all we talk about is inflation. You're like, it costs more money to make than they're worth. They're just like, just round up, round down. It's like, it works out. Canada figured that out. It's like literally when you get handed a penny, they're just like, here's some garbage for you, basically.
Hey, while we're on the coin topic, can I bring up, did you guys see that one quarter that they released in 2022 that says Wilma Mankiller on it?
No. Who released it?
Yeah, it was like in the Biden era, but yeah, one of the quarters that got released is a Wilma Mankiller quarter. Look out for it, everyone.
Wilma Mankiller. Oh, hold on.
Yeah, some Native American lady.
American
killed dudes
activist.
or something.
She was a Wilma Mankiller quarter is a circulating commemorative coin issued by the U.S. Mint as part of the American Women Quarters program. What the fuck is?
Yeah,
see, this is like what I'm talking about with the
quarters.
WNBA shit, where they're pushing this shit so hard. Where they're like, here's a woman quarters program. Are these in circulation?
I'm collecting them all.
Which ones do you have?
I got Wilma Mankiller. They got a NASA lady. They got
NASA lady. Now I've heard it all.
Is it Jack Black's mom?
Dude, I got them. I actually got them all around. But dude, there's probably like 2 or 3 years of all women quarters. So just be on
Did
the
you hear
lookout.
that though, Danny?
Maya
That
Angelou,
Jack
maybe?
Black's mom was integral to the moon mission.
What?
Oh, did not know.
How old is his mom?
I mean, Jack Black is what?
Yeah, he must be in his
60,
50. Yeah, he must
right?
be 60. So yeah, I guess
Pushing
that would-
60.
And what did Jack Black's mom do for the moon?
She helped write code for NASA.
Really?
Yeah, apparently.
What?
They're all fucking Nepo babies, bro. I mean, except for like most of the guys that you hang out with, because I know
Sure.
who you hang out with,
Yeah,
but
I
like,
don't-
it, you know.
Yeah, Jack Black's mother, Judith Love Cohen, was a prominent aerospace engineer who worked on the Apollo 13 mission.
I know I sound crazy, but I'm not
Yeah.
making any of this shit up, dude.
Interesting. I didn't know that. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, hey, I just got one other thing. Just talking about how, stuff's going weird. Like, Danny, you're dealing with a little bit of flack from the platform that we're on right now.
Yeah.
And one platform that popped up that looked like it might have been a good thing was that Rockfin. And Steve has a great take on Rockfin. He's very...
What's your take
he
on
knows exactly how to
Rockfin?
call him out. They're
Well,
some shady
yeah,
people over there.
Sam asked me to like put my show on Rockfin, and I was like, I don't
It
know.
started
I don't-
out great.
I don't
They
need
made
another
him
thing.
had a comedy development
did.
there for a while. A bunch of people like Chrissy Marr and those guys got on. Eddie Bravo, he was like their flagship show, and they deliberately manipulated the value of their cryptocurrency that they based the platform off of. They
Yeah.
treated the vast majority of the creators like garbage there. I have a thing where like everything that I put out is free. I'm not gonna paywall shit, and I operate on the same value for value system that the No Agenda podcast kind of pioneered and put forward. And that was a point of contention with Rockfin. But aside from that, I was there for a couple of years running, man. #1 show on the platform. And they made a decision after what looked like deliberately reducing the value of their token to switch to, instead of paying out in Ethereum backed Ray, to USDC. They didn't tell anybody about it. And then at one point, if you weren't paywalling their content, they were just eliminating your access to your own channel.
What?
They did a whole bunch of people really, really dirty and held on to all of the rare USDC that any individual creator hadn't cashed out of. It should be
that's-
a class action. It should be.
Yeah. Huh. I didn't know that about it. I remember hearing about them from Sam, but I hadn't heard much about them. And
Amber Heard didn't shit the bed like this, bro. It was bad.
yeah, how are they manipulating their crypto token?
Okay, so store of value and number of tokens held was what determined how much it was worth. So as long as people were buying the token, which you still had to go through Ethereum to do, then the value of it rose. When they would pay out every month, the overall value of the token based on what was held would drop. So as soon as they paid out their content creators, it would go from, arbitrarily, I'm just picking numbers, but let's say like $1.75 on the dollar to $1.08 on the dollar.
Well, that's probably because everybody who got paid out went and sold their token to turn it into actual cash.
Exactly.
And it probably wasn't like a particularly liquid coin, so it just tanked it. Yeah, it's not a good system. Because you have to expect that everybody's going to get their tokens every month, and they're going, I'm not hanging on to these forever. I'm going to convert them to cash, and then it just fucking tanks it. Yeah, they probably didn't think that
Rockfin
one
kind of
out
only
very well.
popped up at that certain time, you know? So they got in at a good time. They kind of hooked up all the conspiracy people. Yeah, just as Steve said.
When did it
has a lot
start?
of connections.
Rockfin originally 2018, maybe 2019.
Oh,
I was one of the first 50 on it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I know a few people, someone's in the chat saying, like, you know, there was Odyssey, like all these things I've tried to figure out the token. What was the other? There's like a Twitter one that is like a kind of like a crypto Twitter thing. Fuck, I can't remember what it's called. They always ask me to like, I'll get these like messages from them where they're like, yeah, if you make a post, we'll give you $10 or something. I'm like, I'm not using a fucking fifth Twitter.
Periscope or something like that?
No, Periscope was part of Twitter. No. This was can't remember what it was. They had this like event in I can't remember what it's called. They had this event at the Beacon Theater like 4 years ago. Where they were like, it was like some guy, he's been on Rogan, and he's like trying to make, the thing is, all these people were trying to make this alternative to Twitter when Twitter was all like super censoring everybody, you know, there's like Gab and all that stuff, but then Twitter's like, well, yeah, we're not censoring anybody, anything goes now. So you're like, what's the point of any of these things now?
Well, I mean, just funneling people into more and more centralized spaces.
Yeah.
Which is ironic given the, you know, decentralized ethos of cryptocurrency in general.
Sure. Yeah. It seems like it's less likely to be like that going forward, especially with all the stablecoin stuff. Tony, you got anything else there, man?
Nothing. Peace out, Danny and Steve, and shout out to Mark. Mark's a man of the people. Good on you, staying in the background. Props, Mark.
Yes, he is. Later, man. Actually, we're going to talk to Mark because Mark said he wanted to chime in here. So let's talk to Mark. Phone lines are open, 1-888-949-2969. No, not Mastodon. I don't know what the fuck it was.
Minds, Steam It.
Minds, that's what it is. Minds.
Okay, there was a big Minds convention. That's right. That's right.
It was, they had this big event in New York. Mark, you there?
Yep.
What's up, dude?
Hey, buddy.
What's up, Steve? Thanks for joining us.
Heck yeah, man. Thanks for bailing on my show this morning, prick.
Hey, you guys do it 3 times a week, right?
We're on every day.
There's always another chance. What'd you want to say there, Mark?
I'm fucking with you.
Well, the last caller mentioned, you know, how come we're not making things? Why, you know, blah, blah, blah. I think there's a great opportunity now to emphasize that, just given how, excuse me, how popular the whole tariff concept was, you know, not to get into the Trump topic, but, you know, I don't know how, you know, often people run across enough money to start a small business, but, you know, you'd be surprised what you can do with a couple $100, start somewhere, build it up into something. Next thing you know, you have a made in America product. I know, you know, cars, it's a different conversation, but I've been working with these guys who make clothing, and I'm making some merch for my podcast, and it's all going to be made in America garments and screen printed by yours truly. So yeah, it's something that's achievable if you look for the right people, get some made in America stuff, and just start putting your focus on that, and you'd be surprised at how much.
Oh yeah, I mean, this still is the land of
Texas.
Yeah, this is still the land of opportunity. As much as people want to decry that American dream thing is dead, you're like, this is still like the only country where, like, yeah, you can start a business.
Well, we're fully in the outlaw era again. We are. we're back to we're Wild West with a mass digital surveillance network on top of us for most of us, which is a really wild place. Do you know about the 100-mile border zone, Danny?
No, what is that?
Okay, so there's you basically from the border of the U.S. into the interior 100 miles. Everyone who lives in those areas is effectively under a constitution-free zone. The ACLU has sued over this over and over and over and over and over.
Sorry, where is this area? What do you mean constitution?
It surrounds the border. It surrounds the continental border of the U.S. and Alaska.
Is that why, like, where they can do checks, like they can check for your passport when you're like still in America?
Absolutely, 100%. This also applies to international airports and within 10 miles of a military base. It also applies in terms of digital surveillance for where every traffic camera, highway camera, and bank camera is. This all exists currently and has for a very long time. That's the surveillance grid that we are currently under. Incorporate all of the Teslas that have 17 to 25 cameras on them that are feeding information into a database that is accessible by law enforcement, and the Ford snitch that they're trying to produce, and all of the other dash cams that law enforcement does have access to, and your phone and your laptop. Like this is our
panopticon.
Well, and your modem, right? And Starlink and Star Shield, which is a side, the military contracting side of Starlink. We're there, but we're also in an era of unlimited opportunity, because when you're faced with this kind of massive authoritarian opposition, what human beings normally do is push back. And I think that there are people who are primed to do that in multiple ways, economically, most likely being the most effective one.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you'll always see people coming up with good ideas and kind of trying new shit. And it's, again, like as much as people rag on all the AI stuff, you're like, it's never been easier to, probably make an app. Like there's probably some 12-year-old who's like dicking around on an AI who's going to make some app that makes them fucking.
I have a 13-year-old kid coding a video game with two of his buddies.
Yeah. Right. And, there's probably thousands and thousands of those kids, and I'm sure a few of them are going to make some fucking banger video game. They just use AI.
Well, the AI tools weren't available when they started it, so they spent like 2 years writing out the entire backstory and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And it's really only been in the last year and a half where they've been able to start the actual coding of it. They use AI sometimes, but basically what they did was take a crash course in C++ and Python as 12-year-olds, because there's tutorials for everybody. So they just sat there and went along with everything on them. And 6 months later, they're doing as decent code as somebody who's learning it their first 6 months in college.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, it is a wild one. All right, phone lines are open. I don't know. It's 1-888-949-2969. If you have anything you want to ask, Steve over here. Steve, so I'm trying to think what else we want to talk about. You seem to know a lot about a lot of shit. Have you?
I'm good to riff.
Any thoughts on this Epstein fiasco?
Yeah, I mean, this is something that I've looked at for a very, very long time, and personal friends with the author of One Nation Under Blackmail, Whitney Webb, and I'm in the Independent Media Alliance with her and Derek Bros and Ryan Christian and Richard Grove and a bunch of other really cool people. And this is one of the commonalities. And the thing that like people get really, really wrong about Epstein, a couple of things. It's a joint military intelligence operation, not specifically Mossad or specifically CIA, nor would, the vast majority of those people be read in on it. Same with FBI. This is UK, Israeli, US, Russian. Just pick a country. There's people that were involved, and it's something that like people overlook the role, I guess. Epstein was a concierge for the power elite. He was also a money launderer, and spread a lot of that money around to places like MIT and Harvard for some very, very wild transhumanist projects. A lot of those projects are allegedly ran out of the Zorro Ranch property, which has never once been raided or investigated.
What is the Zorro? That was a ranch that he owned?
So it was okay. Remember the movie Zorro?
Yeah,
the dude with the mask and shit. There was an actual Zorro Ranch in New Mexico, located conveniently between the Los Alamos freaking nuclear site and Santa Fe, right outside of that, and a couple of major airports. Santa Fe has long been known as a little like mountain kind of bohemian grove for the power elite. Epstein owns this property that was owned. It was the original Zorro Ranch. He bought it. It's never been raided, never been looked at, and alleged by multiple victims that there was a bunch of different maternity ward type things on the property.
Kind of like
Julia
Brave New World
Bryant,
shit?
who's been all over Twitter lately, alleges to have woken up on an operating table under anesthesia with her ovaries being removed.
What?
Yes.
Damn,
And
that's
again, never once rated, never once looked at. Been up for sale for several years. There was a buyer, they backed out.
How much is it?
But it's these kinds of projects that nobody's talking about that there's significant documentation for in terms of property ownership and them being on record, them not just Epstein, but Peter Nygaard and Jean-Luc Brunel and Les Wexner and Steven Pinker and all kinds of other people connected to Harvard and MIT talking about these longevity projects. Peter Thiel as well, significant visitor to offices of Epstein and stuff like that. And they have overlapping ideas about, what transhumanism is, what effective altruism is.
Sure.
You haven't looked into effective
that
altruism.
Was the Sam Bankman-Fried thing that he was really into.
Yeah, but it's basically a continuation of the original technocrats, the people who came up with the map of the technate, which if you overlay it looks exactly like the North American Union down to the Panama Canal and Greenland from 100 years ago.
All right, you know what? Let's take we have some callers here. Let's take a call. We got Dylan here. Dylan, you there?
Howdy.
Okay, what's up, man?
I got through pretty quickly.
Yeah.
I actually had a couple questions for this guy.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's actually pretty interesting. Sir, are you familiar with the shroomery back in the day?
Yeah. Yeah.
What's the shroomery?
Okay. Awesome. Okay. Go ahead, man.
What is the shroomery?
Go ahead, man. I've been talking forever.
Okay, so the shroomery it's still a site, I'm pretty sure, where mostly it was for people that were trying to cultivate mushrooms, mostly the illegal kind.
Okay. Like you could buy the kits and stuff?
Well, no, it was actually it was
much more of a forum, like an OG web forum.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I would make grow guides. People would learn a lot from each other. We had actual scientists on there. Originally, I wanted to be a mycologist. That's how I got in STEM in college for a while. And since this guy knows what the shroomery is, I'm wondering, do you remember the girl that was in the missile silo selling all that toad venom shit?
Yeah, vaguely. I remember the silo and I remember toad venom, but I don't remember what her handle was or anything like that.
Okay, because I remember
I don't know if it helps, but I used to be a gang member way back in the day, and I did a lot of that before I realized it was, also a large scale operation to stabilize the country. And so that's I got a significant background in that.
Interesting. Yeah, I've never.
because,
What's this toad venom thing?
So it's Bufo.
Bufo toads.
Yeah. Bufo.
And like you can get high from them, or like
it's
like that's the whole like licking the toad thing.
Yeah, I mean that's where that comes from, but Bufo is something that I don't know. You could smoke it, drink it, or snort it, depending on how it's prepared. But it is a very, very, very heavy, potent psychedelic.
Hmm.
So
apparently a chick selling straight up Bufo out of a silo.
Do you know anyone who's taken it?
I've known several people that have taken it. You know several people that have taken Bufo.
Yeah. What is it? And like, what does it do? Like, what's it similar to? Anything?
DMT.
Interesting.
A little bit of background. So this girl, she used to operate. She actually had a YouTube channel, and back when YouTube was pretty much like a wild frontier, and she was selling all sorts of stuff. The reason it reminded me of her was because you were talking about all those synthetic drugs, and she was pushing a lot of that stuff. She would sell like actual toads, and then all the hippie, hippie, were like getting all mad about the toads being sold because they would actually sell a toad and you'd have to like torment it to get it to secrete its
Oh, it's like kind of like adrenochrome. Like you would like have to like scare it.
Yeah, you would have to piss it off, and then it would secrete like a white, milky substance.
Crazy.
But she lived in a fucking missile silo, an abandoned missile silo, with a couple of other dudes, and they were manufacturing LSD. It was a pretty wild story. I'm surprised not too many people talk about that anymore.
Did she get caught?
Yeah, I mean, she was like had a YouTube channel and was living in a fucking missile silo. It didn't take them long to go figure it out.
And did she go to jail?
I don't know what happened to her. Like, I think she sold out a couple other people. You know how women seem to
how they
escape any kind of justice.
Yes, I am aware of that.
And then also you brought up some guy in Antifa in Jacksonville.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Okay,
the first pre-crime arrest.
So what year was that?
2021. I want to say Justin Baker, but that's not entirely right.
Okay, because I grew up in the Jax punk scene, and I unfortunately helped bring that Antifa shit because I was it was like the early days of MySpace when nobody knew what Antifa was, and like we were just all stupid punker leftist kids. And I was wondering if I knew the guy, but that's way too late after that.
Yeah, no, this dude was a veteran.
Okay.
Went Antifa and was organizing counter resistance at the Capitol for analogous January 6th protests. I was at the one in DC, and that was hella weird. I gotta tell you, that was fucking crazy.
You were at, what do you mean, like a J6?
Yeah. Yeah. So I used to do a lot of like free speech activism around Julian Assange's incarceration and stuff like that. And we had planned an event months before the announcement of the Stop the Steal thing for the 2nd and 3rd of January that year. And so when they announced the Stop the Steal thing, I was like, oh, you got to be fucking kidding me. I'm sticking around for that shit show. So I rescheduled my flight and then spent 2 days getting turned down from Airbnb after Airbnb because I look like this. And they were like, oh, no, you're here for the right wing fascist thing. You know,
Really?
Yeah. Note got sent out to all the local Airbnb owners. We finally found a black couple in the hood that was like, get the fuck in here, dude.
Yeah, they're like, we don't give a shit. Interesting.
And one more thing. So you guys were talking about cars with AI.
Yeah.
I'm a mechanic and I work on pretty high-end vehicles. And the stuff like that I run into is like, first off, we've had cars that could be hacked for quite a long time, ever since probably even the 90s. If you had cruise control and satellite radio or connections like that, they could control your car and hack into it. But what's really wild now is that because everything goes through like multiple central gateways on some of the cars that I work on, and just the most minor thing like can brick a car, like certain electric vehicles, they've got like 82 modules on a certain brand, and like you just update it wrong and the car is fucking fried and you just totaled a $80,000, $100,000 car. But the amount of technology that's in there, that's like the amount of sensors that are in there, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, they're just
how much
basically like
information I
computers
have.
now,
Like
right?
well, I can get personal information of people. Like I'm access to all sorts of crazy shit from these fucking cars.
It's
pretty
low-grade
wild.
Tron.
It's already on there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're at the entry level Tron stage right now.
That's crazy. Yeah, I mean, eventually, I guess you're gonna be able to like hack people's cars, and especially when they're all driverless. Like, I'm sure there'll be shit where people hack cars and make them do crazy shit.
I mean, technically, I can already enter cars that are on the road
And take them over.
driving. Not take them over. I don't have anything like that, but like,
But theoretically, it's possible.
I guess you could, but I don't have access to that. Like, I don't have like, that's the engineering department. But like,
I mean, there's been a couple of journalists that have died really, really suspiciously. Matthew Harris.
That's what I was talking about.
Yeah. Because they were driving, you know, hackable vehicles to a degree. And to a degree is the degree of the technician behind the hack.
Yeah, people would be probably pretty frightened to know how much control someone from the outside can have on your car right now.
Well, that's not
And
good.
It's not just like the Tesla.
Yeah, it's all,
Yeah, you should be scared.
Yeah, that's not good at all. All right, Dylan, I gotta let you go. We got some more calls here, but thanks for calling in, man.
All right, see you, man.
Dylan,
Cheers,
everybody.
Dylan. Thank you.
All right, let's go to Eddie Psyops. Let me take a couple more calls here. Eddie Psyops. Let's see if he's there. No, there we go. Eddie Psyops. What's up, man?
Hey, Danny.
How's it going?
Yeah, I figured I'd blackpill you guys a little more.
Sure.
Listen to some of these other calls. So I've actually used Palantir right when they first rolled it out in like 2019-ish.
How does a normal person use Palantir, or is this at your work?
Well, so I was deployed at the time, so we were using it to do like military intelligence stuff.
Okay.
And the fun, kind of the funny thing, I don't know if this makes it better or worse, but it wasn't like anything new. It was just what it did was it was like a suite of that would pull all the other tools that already existed into one location, so you didn't have to go around and do like find a bunch of different things. So
Right.
it could it would search different databases from like, you know, intel reports came down from like the CIA or whatever. They put out a wire. NSA got a guy's phone number. Like the military rolled a guy up and detained him and, you know, interrogated him and whatever. And they all send up their reports, but those all go to separate places. So like Palantir, what it's supposed to do is like be able to search all that stuff and bring it into like one location. So it's
Gotcha. So
more
it just kind of
user-friendly.
like streamlined everything.
Yeah. So
all these
like,
different...
like a couple weeks ago, you're talking about the, like the dude that's in that, you know, working on the Iran strike case for 15 years. Like that dude knows where all that stuff is. He doesn't need a thing like Palantir, but
Okay.
like some brand new idiot that you just hired to, you know, bring in, it'll help that guy like find that stuff easier.
Gotcha.
But again, that was a few years ago, so I haven't
Yeah.
seen like the newest version.
I'm sure it's
But,
a lot better.
I was gonna say, like, I know, like, because some of the AI stuff, like, I talked to because I'm retired now, but I talked to my buddies that are still in that field, and like, they're starting to use like incorporate AI into their stuff, and so like, helping with like research and stuff like that, which that's what's like scary to me is knowing that going forward, like, because when you think about like Psyop stuff, that's just propaganda, which is essentially marketing. We know we have like with ad tech and all this shit, like it's targeting marketing, you know, advertisements and stuff to you. All it takes is someone, you know, flipping a switch, and all of that's going to be, you know, propaganda to get you to do whatever.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be a new frontier, that's for sure. I mean, I don't think we can even know what it's gonna be like how this stuff's gonna be deployed.
No, because like I feel like, you know, you're gonna open your phone and it's gonna have like a list of like recommended articles from fucking, you know, New York Times or Wall Street Journal or whoever, and it's gonna be like specifically tailored to you to get you to, you know, because it's gonna be able to look at your like ad ID or whatever and what you post on X, and so it's gonna try and, based off of what you're doing there, it'll be tailoring what it's sending you to try and change your opinions or your behaviors based on that.
I mean, they've lost control of like, you know, regular news, which is kind of how they used to do that. So they probably have to figure out a new game plan for that, because it used to just be like, yeah, you tune in to fucking CNN or Fox or whatever and MSNBC, but now they kind of don't quite have the power that they used to have.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, everything's subject to frequency, electromagnetic pulses, various different forms of, you know, Faraday protection and stuff like that. There's a number of things you can do. I learned a long time ago that there's no such thing as privacy. There's only operational security. And there's a whole bunch of things that you can do to increase your own personal operational security.
Oh yeah, I mean, I would definitely, you know, look into like some of the basic stuff like that, like, you know, VPNs and virtual machines and that sort of thing, just to have as little of a footprint as you can. But I mean, you're never going to catch everything, but same as like you were saying earlier, Danny, like there's so many people out there. They're not, you know, just try to be as lost in the noise as you can be.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a whole like gray man concept, which is, you know, ruined for Danny, ruined for me in front of people all the time. But if you're, you know, not in front of live audiences or on camera frequently, there's a whole bunch of things that you can do. Go check out Derek Brose's How to Opt Out of the Technocratic State.
Yeah, I definitely recommend that kind of stuff. There's some like, easy user level stuff you can do. So anyways, that's all I had. I just wanted to pile on, I guess. Thanks guys.
Cool. Thanks, man. All right, let's take a few more calls, and then we're gonna wrap this up. We got Eric here. Eric, you there?
Happening, Eric.
Hello, yeah, this is Eric.
Hey, what's up, man?
Dude, I got a couple of things. That guy earlier was talking about CPI. That's just like the consumer price index. That doesn't measure inflation. If you want to do inflation, you got to go to like St. Louis Fed and measure the M2 year over year, because that bitch is like 7.9% since 2008.
Yeah. I mean, CPI doesn't even measure like rents and stuff, does it?
It converts rents to like what somebody who owns a place and would rent it for, not like the value.
Yeah, but it's like the most people's like main cost in their lives is their shelter, and it's like it feels like it doesn't.
I use the fast food index for like
it's like a fixed amount of supply as far as housing goes.
Right.
So you start printing money and it fucks up anything fixed. And the next part of that is the Cantillon effect, which y'all should look up.
What's that?
It's how like when you start debasing currency, it flows to like not the economically advantaged people, but like the politically advantaged people, which kind of explains a lot more of who's rich and who's not in this country.
Explain that a little more.
So the Cantillon effect, it was figured out like back when we had real currency, like gold and shit. And as soon as somebody like started debasing it, like, putting some copper on the inside or like lead.
Yeah.
Like the first people that would know about that were the people at the top.
Right.
So you'd make sure your shit was fresh. Like you don't want the fucking bullshit. So you start giving that to the poor people. And then they're fucked when everybody figures out none of it's worth anything.
Well, that's the stable coin and stuff like that. It's effectively worthless, but everybody's going to be ushered into it. Meanwhile, people that still want to move real stores of value, actual things of value are going to move metals. They're going to move commodities. They're going to move human capital and things of that nature.
Right, but you can debase the value of human capital when you control the value of the money supply centrally.
Yeah,
which is like
and we're looking at it
and
right
that brings
now.
me to like, right. That means for the Bitcoin thing, like people think, oh, dude, that's a fixed currency, but there's already the Satoshi guy's wallets.
Yeah, there's a million tokens that are.
So here's what I think happened with that. They just put them shit on gold bars, and then they keep them in vaults. Like everybody else's shit is gonna get tracked through the traded Bitcoin. And whenever the real motherfuckers got to move stuff, they just move it one vault over like they currently do.
I mean, if you're not Nick Sabor or the federal government, you're, in the bottom of Bitcoin.
Yeah, that's all of us, man.
Yeah.
That's all of us.
Yeah.
So you can't really go for Bitcoin. That's just a different trap. I mean, it's better than what we got now, but.
Fantastic book called The Bitcoin Delusion by Mark Goodwin. If you haven't read that, check that out.
No, I haven't got that one, but I'll check it out. And then the guy who said was talking about car hacking, dude. All you need is a Flipper Zero. Costs like $250. You can get the replay script, and then it basically you got to be within like 100 yards of a fucking keyless car entry car.
Is this information you're allowed to
and you can unlock and start it. You can disclose it. You can buy this on the internet right now.
All right.
I mean, if it's for sale, don't commit crimes, anybody. But you can check it out.
You're not. It's for penetration testing.
Right.
So you should
exactly.
be licensed.
Penetration testing.
And not break laws.
Do not break laws.
But maybe you want a Ferrari.
Yeah. All right, Eric. Thanks, man. Eric, everybody. All right, let's take our last call of the night. Thank you again, Steve, for your time here. We got TJ from my home country of Canada. What's up, man? He must be buckled right now.
It's a far callback.
Yeah.
But I got the sweater.
Oh, you got it back? Oh, my
got
God.
it back.
So for people who don't, I have another call and show, The Bathhouse, which we will have a new episode of tomorrow night. I know it's been a minute. But TJ, what was it, your ex-girlfriend or something? Stole your sweater?
Situationship. I don't like the modern
not a girlfriend,
day.
but a
No, I'll call it
situationship. She stole his sweater, and we were like, you're never getting it back. How did you get it back?
I said it was for my dead aunt.
Okay.
Then I didn't talk to her for about a month. And then I said, hey, am I ever getting this sweater back? And then finally, she'd listen to my original advice, be like, hey, just drop it off at your friend's place because she lives literally down the street from my sister's. I can just swing by and grab it. And then that's what she did.
Nice.
That's a victory for all men, TJ.
And I don't want to be that guy. It smells like it was in a fucking chest or closet. It smells like an attic. It was.
She didn't treat it well, is what you're saying.
Gross. Well, no, I honestly thought she fucking or her kid destroyed it or something.
Yeah, I mean, I had personally written off your
Wow.
sweater. I go, you're never getting that back. But
I just met you and heard the story. I wrote off your sweater. Congratulations. Yeah.
Oh, all my friends did.
Yeah, I wasn't looking good for the
But then
sweater.
I played a game of bocce ball with Cameron, and he brought up like fucking clothing, and I was like, "Fuck, I want my sweater back." So I shot in the dark. It worked out. Also,
Sweet.
Sub note about the WNBA.
Yeah.
There's this whole entire thing about tracking their menstrual cycles. And
I
everything.
know. That was
And,
a big meme. But yeah, you can track
to
bet on it.
Joking aside, no. Like Las Vegas is paying attention because
Really?
all the I follow like 7 of them that like follow the menstrual cycle things, and every time they do bets on it, the Las Vegas has them bet less, and like the profit margins isn't that good.
Yeah. They
So
know
like,
when they're on.
I
How do
think-
you
I
find
think
out
they-
that
I
they're
think
on
they
their?
put them-
How do you find out that they're on their rag?
honestly, autistic people, I assume.
That's what I've always wondered. I go, how
I'm-
do you know? How do you know that?
I'm following a couple of guys on Instagram. I assume they're like, have you ever watched Community?
Yeah.
I assume they're Abed, where like
They're
they
all
started
just-
giving them chocolate, and then eventually he started noticing the pattern, and next thing you know,
Yeah, they eventually figure it out.
I mean, you could just bribe
Yeah.
the janitor.
I guess. Yeah. You can get some inside info. Yeah. Cool, man. Well, I'm glad you got your
That
sweater
would be
back,
funny.
TJ. That's
yeah, that's
good
all I
shit, dude.
really wanted to say. And the WNBA, easy money making. Never expect them to get over 100.
Yeah. Well, that's probably a good bet. Don't they play shorter quarters too?
All
right, later. TJ, everybody. All right, that's been the show. Steve, where's the best place for people to find you?
amwakeupshow.com or Rumble, really. Do
Cool.
that. Do
Cool.
that. Thank you, Danny. I appreciate it, man.
Thanks again for having me.
And
or
our
not for having
hours
me.
suck for comics, but you're welcome on the show anytime, man.
For sure, buddy. All right, that's been the show, everybody. Thank you very much. Check out a new episode of The Bathhouse tomorrow night. That has been the show. Oh, we have one super chat that I didn't read. Shout out to Tony Coriolis for dropping some low value mail memberships. And Iron Man Metal Bill says 1 fish, 2 fish, Hebrew Jew fish. That is I. We lost Steve. Not important. That's been the show, everybody. Tune in next week. We'll be back next week. And if you want to support the show, you can do so. Patreon.com/lowvaluemail. MAIL. I know I was supposed to give away. I'll give away the membership next week. Sorry. I don't. We'll do it. I don't have it set up right now. Anyways, I'll do it next week. Thanks very much, everybody. Peace out. See you soon.
Really a poet, you know it, all my shit heroic. Empathic abilities, yeah, my face be also stoic. Bleep, blow up, nigga, that just means I'm working. They see me as a leader, so that's why I'm Captain Kirkin. These tracks from the stars, that much is for certain. You can feel this hit if you up or if you hurting. I'm raising my stock, not talking my feet in some Birkin. Number Johnny 5, got a fucking short circuit. Bring the track to life when I spit phenomenal. When I hit, she feel that shit in her abdominals. These rappers make me laugh like comic view, they comic through. You know I got a ball out, I hit the track running just like Sonic do. They don't wanna turn on my light switch. Yeah, they was trying to get me on my hype shit. Yeah, they don't wanna turn on my light switch. Yeah, then they tried to down me up some KO type shit. Yeah, they don't wanna turn on my light switch. Yeah, now we pulling up pressure on some flight shit. Ha. They don't wanna turn on my light switch. Yeah, they don't wanna turn on my light switch. They don't wanna turn on my light switch. Yeah, they was trying to get me on my hype shit. Yeah, they don't wanna turn on my light switch. Yeah, then they tried to down me up some KO type shit. Yeah, they don't wanna turn on my light switch. Yeah, now we pulling up pressure on some flight shit.